Now we're going into the present, which is Go Rush, the new series that just came out. Go Rush is the continuation of Sevens, with new characters with similar or identical last names to the characters in Sevens. We can even see some similarities in appearances. However, the characters from the previous series are nowhere to be shown, except Yuga, who is shown slightly, maybe. Because we don't know if it's actually Yuga, or if it is or isn't. They really are teasing us with the Yuga not shown. But that leads me to my next point. Konami, you cannot be afraid to bring old characters back to the new anime. One Piece is the biggest fan favorite because they keep bringing back past episodes, past characters. Boruto is the continuation of Naruto, and people are still watching because it still has the main characters, Naruto, Sasuke, all these guys in the show. Beyblade Burst is the continuation of Volt and having him evolve from series to series, and he's still able to duel the main protagonist, and he's still a main protagonist himself. So it's so interesting to see the most fan favorites, and people actually do buy cards from them. Konami, this is what you need to do. You need to bring back the characters from Sevens back to the series and having them play a huge role in the series. We have a 2-year gap between Yuga leaving for space and coming back, then another time gap between Yuga's kids. All of these crazy timeline gaps that are happening between kids and grandkids and all this craziness. I don't even know what's happening with the timeline. This could be easily fixed, but Konami, you need to act really, really quickly because we as the audience are getting confused by who's who and who's the descendant of what. So make sure you're able to get the timeline back and be able to continue it. I also see Yuga's descendants being very similar to Yuga. So Yuamu is the brains or intelligence of Yuga, and Yuhi is the emotional or passion of Yuga. They are both split characters of Yuga, which are now passed on to the next generation. And it's going to be interesting to see where they end up and developing as characters. Their line art design of the characters are amazing and seamless. You can barely see the lining. However, with the background, I did notice a huge difference between Sevens and Go Rush. When I first opened up that episode and started watching, I was able to see that the background felt like it was drawn by a 6th grader. I don't know what it was, but it threw me off so much. Like every time when I would watch the show, I would not watch the characters, but the actual background, which really disappointed me because compared to Sevens, I was more focused on the characters because the background looks so much better in Sevens than it did in Go Rush. And like I mentioned before, I do like seeing characters in different uniforms. I would like to see the protagonist in the series put on different clothing, have different uniforms, just like in One Piece where you have Nami who always changes her clothing when island to island, or Luffy when he changes his vest color from island to island. If you're able to design new clothing season to season, it will also show character development with their style and them growing as adults. I think the music needs more dramatic, cosmic sound. The best way for me to explain it is to look at Zexal. If you look at Barian World and when they're dueling and they have like the dun, 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 like, I think the music should be much more dramatic. I do have high hopes for Go Rush, and since it just started, I don't want Konami messing the series up because I do see a whole bunch of potential for this series, and I hope that Konami, please don't mess the series up. Make sure it lasts as long as possible. You're literally in space. You can't mess this up. You literally could have infinite amount of adventures in the show. 1, don't mess up on the format and new summonings. Don't add synchros, don't add XCs, don't add pendulums, don't add links, don't add any of the cards or summonings that were in the previous show. This is a new reset for the show, and you have to be able to keep the game as simple as possible. Keep it to summoning and fusion and maximum. That's it. 3 summonings. That's all you need. That's going to keep the game simple, and it's going to bring a lot more people into the game. The only thing you want to evolve is the traditional cards and make different designs. For example, if you have Blue Eyes, maybe you want to create a different design for Blue Eyes and call it a different name. That's fine. But don't try and add new summonings or any kind of craziness to the game. Just keep it as simple as possible. Don't worry about the sales. The sales will come if the anime is good. I want you guys to focus on the anime, bring people into the game, and then be able to sell. Let's take a look at Pokemon, Naruto, and Dragon Ball Z. None of them are focused on cards. What they're actually focused on is the anime, and then people who want to collect cards come in and actually buy them. So what does that tell you? That people like the anime. Once they like the anime, they come in, buy the cards, and then that's it. That's all it is. The anime comes first, the cards come second. Next is Konami. You have to be able to use old soundtracks from previous series. If you're going to be using previous used monsters, Blue Eyes, Black Magician, Dark Magician Girl, it would be awesome to hear the soundtracks from Duel Monsters being used on those monsters when they're summoned. Just like when you use Seven's Road Magician's theme, when he got summoned in episode 20 by the Goha Princess or whatever her name is. I think that each scene requires a certain amount of soundtrack. I think if you guys do remix the soundtracks, I think you'll be able to use them again in future episodes. Next is the long tutorials. Man, stop with the long tutorials. You know you've spent 10 episodes trying to explain dueling in Go Rush. I got so bored of watching the episodes that I was really close to turning it off. Nobody wants to hear the tutorials. We'll figure it out once we get to the actual game. If we actually want to watch the game and play the game, we'll actually go online and look online how to play the game. We don't need a tutorial created by the company to explain the game. Nobody wants that. What we want to see is the actual show. We want to see the action. We want to see the cards in the show. We don't want to see how it's played. If we want to find out how it's played, we go into instruction manual. We have the internet. We're able to go on YouTube and look it up. So tutorials, keep it under 2 episodes and sprinkle it across the show. Don't make it a 30-minute episode. That makes the show so boring and makes people want to just turn it off. Next is stop creating random cards. We want to see loose Dragius monsters, Romans, Guitar Stage monsters. Bring back the main character monsters to the same show so it becomes a staple to the show. Just like how if we see Black Magician and Blue Eyes, we already know that's part of Duel Monsters. It's already embedded in our brains for that kind of monster. So what we want to see is make sure that those monsters that were originally used in 7s, bring back and make them staples in the show. If this show is a continuation of 7s, then it has to be shown in the future of Go Rush. There's no other way you could make a substitution for those cards. I still like the fact that Konami, you're still showing the hands of the duelists before they're taking their turns and helping us follow the turn and the moves that their characters are taking. And I really do like the teasers that are shown of Yuga. I don't know if it is actually Yuga. I think you have to reveal Yuga's face and be able to show him as a main character in the actual show, since it is a continuation. That will make the anime so much successful. The last fact, which is important, Yu-Gi-Oh! Just went interstellar. Like mentioned before, this means that the adventures are infinite, because space is infinite, with different planets and different stars. Just like One Piece, where it is an infinite story, you just add some new islands, expand the map, and once you expand the map, the story will never end. Konami needs to do the same thing with Go Rush when it's in space. It's a rare opportunity. Konami needs to take it, or they would have wasted it. Adding planets with maximum summon, fusion summons, rare cards, whatever it may be, different kinds of species on that planet, and being able to see their dueling styles and different kinds of whatever it may be. They need to take this opportunity because it was not taken in 7s. Being able to learn new duel styles from them and being able to improve their skills as duelists, very, very important. And when I mean that the story could be infinite, I literally mean it could be infinite. We as human beings don't even know anything about space, except that it may be infinite. However, Konami needs to get more creative with the show and start brainstorming new ideas for the anime part of the company. I want to see Konami push the boundaries of the show and being able to push the show as far as possible with the story. But I could keep going on with this whole video, but I just want to let you guys know what I think about this show. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment below if you actually enjoy or agree with this video. And I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace out, y'all.